Hey, everybody, it's Jeff Zito. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Celebrity Jobber Podcast. This week, ranked number 3 in the United States on the Apple Podcast Music Interviews chart. So thank you so much for your continued support. Streaming everywhere on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Just hit that subscribe button if you could. And also would love a 5-star rating. And please leave a comment and or a review. You can check out past guests and episodes up on CelebrityJobber.com, and just this past week, we started releasing the Celebrity Jobber Rewind, maybe an older episode that you didn't get a chance to listen to. And this past Wednesday, Papa Roach's lead singer Jacoby Shaddix was celebrating his 50th birthday. So we re-released his episode of Celebrity Jobber. I believe it was episode number 104, in case you missed it. And after 200 episodes, you probably missed a few. So be looking for the Celebrity Jobber Rewind each and every Wednesday. So what would have happened to these people if they weren't famous, you know? Who were they before they were famous? Like, what did their parents do for work? And how did it all start? Was there like a big break that happened, a magical phone call or a lucky break? And this week, we're going to talk with somebody that you've been familiar with for the last 30 years. And I didn't know it was 30 years until he told me. Celebrity chef Tyler Florence has been on the Food Network since he was 25 years old. And he said that was 30 years ago, back in 1996. It's pretty unbelievable, because I always say it's not fair to ask like an 18-year-old senior in high school what you want to do for the rest of your life. What do you want to major in college? It's really an unfair question. I don't think most kids, or I should say 18-year-olds, have the bandwidth to really figure out what the hell they want to do with the rest of their lives at 18. But for Tyler Florence, he knew. And we're going to get into all of that, his first job, his big break, and his big move, which was from Greenville, South Carolina to the big city, the Big Apple, New York. And Tyler's new show on the Food Network, it's called The Great Food Truck Race. That's Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on the Food Network. Celebrity chef Tyler Florence is my guest this week on Celebrity Jobber.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, give a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Check out all our past episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you pod. What if these celebrities weren't famous? What would they have become? What was their first job? We're about to find out.
There he is. Hey, Tyler, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. You got your Bryson DeChambeau hat on. Let's go. Crushers.
Yeah, man. You know what?
Man.
I just like it. I just like the logo. I wish I could.
It's a really good logo.
I wish I could be more into Bryson, but
yeah.
I got to tell you, I was just took a golf trip to South Carolina, maybe about a year ago, Kiowa Island. What a great place! So,
would you play the ocean course? Would you play?
I wish I wanted to play the ocean course, but they made us walk it at the time. I was like, oh, this is like the first stop in our trip. I got to walk 18 holes on the ocean course. I don't know if I'll be able to play the other 4 rounds.
Yeah, man. Did you have a caddy, or did you just carry your own bags?
No, we didn't carry. We went we played another course on Kiowa Island, one that you could ride.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's fun too, man. Right.
It was great. We had a great time, and a great there's a great pub there. It's called what's it called? It's right on the ocean course, right on the 18th hole, and it's I think it's called the Ryder Cup Pub. Great little spot. Great.
Yeah, Kiowa is so pretty. It's such a beautiful part of the country, and that's one of the best golf courses in the world for sure.
And you grew up how far from there?
I grew up in a small town called Greenville. It's in the northwestern part of the state. It's like in between Charlotte and Atlanta. Great town. And then I went to culinary school in Charleston. So I was there.
Okay, that's a fun place.
I moved from South Carolina to New York City when I was 20. So it was a while ago. But yeah, I mean, I'm back home. I'm back home all the time. We're going to be back in Charleston for the Charleston Food and Wine Classic in November.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. So where did this all come from? When did your love of food start? Like what kind, are your parents, were your mom and dad into food? What kind of jobs did they have? Did they have regular jobs, or were they also in the culinary arts?
Yeah, my mom was an accountant and a business manager for like a local television station, and my dad did a bunch of stuff, including like selling advertising, and my dad did a bunch of interesting things. And like I just sort of fell in love with this on my own. I mean, I went to culinary school. I went to Johnson and Wales University in Charleston. I started washing dishes in the nicest restaurant in my hometown in Greenville, South Carolina. And just kind of feel like the first time as a young kid, if you taste like lobster dipped in hollandaise, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like what is that? Or if you taste like a filet mignon wrapped in bacon with a mushroom demi-glace or something like that. Like you taste these things and like, oh God, this is like food of the gods. And it was just kind of fun. I got really good at it really early and just said, okay, this is my career. It's kind of what I'm doing. And it was really early on. It's like when Emerald started to become big in New Orleans, and Wolfgang Puck was in Spago was really starting to kind of take shape, and all these kind of regional chefs across America were like making a statement regionally. And to me, I just thought that was just so incredibly interesting, and I kind of fell in love with the genre of cooking and really kind of never looked back. And so, and this is my 30th year on television with Food Network. I started in 1996.
Wow.
In that wild 30 years on television with Food Network, it's crazy.
It is wild. That's wild.
Yep. And now we're in Northern California. We've got two very successful restaurants in San Francisco. We have Wayfair Tavern that's celebrating 16 years in the financial district. And then we have our newest restaurant, Miller and Lux, which is an award-winning steakhouse. We're at the Chase Center, home of the Golden State Warrior basketball team, and the Golden State Valkyries, our WNBA team. And we were named the fourth best steakhouse in the United States and number 25 in the world.
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to pay you a visit for sure. That's what I like. That's what I like.
Yeah, we're deep in the beef space, man. We love it.
You're telling me that you fell in love with this when you were washing dishes at the nicest restaurant in Greenville. Was that your very first job?
It was. Yeah, it was my very first job. Started washing dishes and just kind of fell in love with it. And like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And the chef was a really good mentor. And like, I always have had just like excellent work ethic. So even though as a dishwasher, I was the best dishwasher, and then like kind of moved up to prep cook pretty quickly and just really kind of paid attention to it and kind of felt like I'd found my tribe, which I think is really,
these are my people.
Yeah. I think it's really important for a lot of young people that I think the difference between being treated like a child as a high schooler, right? Being treated like you're a kid going to high school, and then feeling like you're an adult is just starting to work. Just go work, go get a job, right? And it might feel like a chore, but like what you're really doing is going to work with other adults. And do you get that sort of sense of satisfaction and the gratitude of you're actually doing something, you're earning a paycheck, you're actually working with other adults and working as a team, doing really kind of important work. And so it changed my life for sure. And I've been in the restaurant business and the food space and the food and entertainment space my entire life.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito.
Okay, so you go to college, you go to Johnson and Wales on the South Carolina campus. Mm-hmm. You graduate from there, and then you go to New York City. That's the Mecca, right? That's where all the greats want to be because of the food culture there, the restaurants. So tell me about your experience leaving school, showing up from South Carolina, showing up in New York City, looking up at those buildings in Times Square for the first time. Pretty overwhelming, that experience going by yourself to New York to work.
Well, my dad and my older brother and a U-Haul moving truck, right? We drove from South Carolina to New York. I signed an extra loan check. I had no money moving to New York. I moved to New York City with $2,000 in my pocket.
Wow.
I had enough money for like first month's rent and last month's rent and about a week's worth of spending money before I had nothing. And the only thing I had was a stage with Charlie Palmer at Oriel, the original Oriel in New York, right? But the chef I was working for in Charleston knew Charlie and had made a connection and had gotten me a slot, an opportunity to go try out to see if I can make it, right? And I knew there was no going back, right? And I think that's really important. Like if you don't give yourself a plan B, there's only plan A. There's only plan A. There is no plan B, right? We're going to make plan A work. We're one way or the other. We're going to make it work. And like anything that feels like, like a challenge for yourself, if it's hard and it's rewarding and in your heart this is the next logical evolutionary step of you as a person. You just got to go and figure it out and know, whatever you think the worst case scenario is probably not going to be that bad. But just go and just bang it out and go do it. And I really, it was obviously the right move. And so, I was in New York City for probably 5 years when I met some folks from the Food Network originally. I was probably here for 5 years, right?
Okay.
And then that was like the real, first day of the rest of my life. That was kind of it.
So that was your big. Would you consider this moment like your big break? And if you could just tell me a little bit about how that moment where you kind of went from the kitchen into the TV. Can you give me a little bit more on that? Like, of how did that all happen? Like,
Sure.
You're working at a restaurant. Now you're getting contacted by Food Network. Where does all this happen?
Well, we were getting a lot of buzz and a lot of publicity. I was the executive chef of an Italian restaurant called Cibo. It was on the corner of 42nd Street and 2nd Avenue, right on the cusp of Tudor City. And we were in the Daily News building, like the original like Superman movie where Superman's, Clark Kent's walking through the lobby and you get the big world and everything like the Cibo was in that building. And so we right on the other side of Times Square, speaking of Times Square. And so we were just getting lots of buzz in the city and lots of great reviews and I just like I still do now, go out and work the room and say hi and shake hands and introduce yourself and say hello. And I met a woman named Lori Green. I'll never forget her. She was an executive with the network and she said, everybody's talking about you. Would you want to be on television? We have this new network called Food Network and we think you'd be great for it and we'd love to do it. And I just immediately said yes. And I've always said yes. And you show up on time, right? Like you know your lines, you know what 3.5 minutes is all about. You know your recipe, right? And it was like this really incredible experience that I did it. It wasn't my best performance, but it was good enough for the executive producers to invite me back for another one. And I just went back to the restaurant. I just sat at my desk in the kitchen. And I said, today's the first day of the rest of my life. Like,
that's awesome.
This is really amazing. Cool. Like, let's go.
And you were a kid. You were really young at the time, right?
I was 25 years old. Yeah. 25.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
Awesome story. So this whole thing with food trucks, I think it's kind of a phenomenon. I kind of remember when it started. I want to say maybe around 10 years ago, it started becoming a thing. So the Great Food Truck Race, Sunday nights, 9 p.m., Food Network, next day streams on HBO Max. So you have 4 trucks that are,
nine, bro. We have 9 of the great food. Yeah, 9 of the best food trucks in America. And this season, dude, we're on the Bourbon Trail in between Tennessee and Kentucky. And it's a competition elimination reality show. And and this year it's savory versus sweet. Right. So we have which is 8 trucks. We have 4 savory trucks and 4 sweet trucks, and they're all going head to head against each other, which is wild. And so if you haven't seen the show, where you been? Right. And you got to hop on. There's so much like, so many back seasons to get caught up on. But we race them on this really kind of fun, crazy route going, someplace around America. And it's live, it's real. It's not on a locked off set and with like extras. Like we're selling in real time to real people. We're selling real food. This is real heart and hustle. And so you're seeing the drama of like that thing to coming to fruition and live in real time. And so the teams that make the most amount of money move on. And traditionally, the team that made the least amount of money would get eliminated. And that's sort of the beats of the show. But the wrinkle this season, which is kind of fun, we take the bottom 2 teams and then they have a cook-off right at the last second, a redemption battle where one dish can keep you in the race. One bite, one taste can keep you in the race. And so it just kind of heightens up the elimination drama right at the last second of the show, which is just wild. It's the best season we've ever shot, 19 seasons deep. We started shooting the show in 2010.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. Celebrity Jobber.
Okay, so 2010. So that's when food trucks kind of came into this space. What do you think? Tyler, do you think the food trucks it's a more affordable way for these chefs to be able to fulfill their dream of opening up a big restaurant? It's just because they've gotten so popular over the course of the huge.
Jeff, it's the democracy of the restaurant world, right? Because like, listen, I'm famous. Raising money for a restaurant's never easy, and the death toll of restaurants, I think it's like 70% of restaurants never see their second birthday. That's a real story. That's real,
wow.
Right? And so having some great place where you can just get in the game, get your brand started, get your Instagram account up and running. You borrow some money from friends and family. You can start a food truck for less than $100,000.
Wow. Yeah, so it's amazing. They're showing up in my community once a week. I mean, it's just it's not a new thing. It's been around for a minute, but now it's like in vogue.
So it's the American expression of street food, right? So if you go to Europe or you go to Asia, like everybody has like street food culture. There's like Belgian fries, and there's like street food in Asia and Japan, like all kinds, but never really anything in America. We have fast food, but we never really have street food, right? Until food trucks, right? And now that we do, and you put 4 or 5 of them together in a downtown area on a Friday night, and you string some cafe lights and get a band and a beer truck, and then you got a carnival, and people love them, and they're using them as caterings for weddings and all kinds of crazy stuff right now. And I just love being a part of the genre. We've had 13 teams go on to open very successful brick and mortar restaurants after the show.
That's cool.
There's a path for people to be successful with this, and I just love being a part of it.
That's awesome. Can you tell me, with your background, your restaurants, what's your favorite thing to eat? Is there something like a game changer? If you go somewhere and they're like, hey, they got prime rib on the menu, I got to get it. What's your absolute favorite thing that you have to have?
Beef. I honestly, it's my favorite. There's that little painting right here on the corner, right? I just like steaks, man. It's my jam. We're deep in the beef space. Miller and Lux, our steakhouse, our 45-day dry aged tomahawk it's steak. I stake my reputation on. It's the best steak you'll ever have in your entire life. I promise you. It's so good. And it hits every single time. So we love beef. We love, Australian Wagyu. We love Japanese A5. Our domestic beef from one single ranch in South Dakota is just so incredibly special. Yeah, it's beef for sure.
You ever have a celebrity, one of your restaurants, that you got to tell them to get the hell out of there, being a dick?
Oh, throw them out. No, we get a bunch of celebrities in, and we've had, no, not really, man. No, because they're all like super polite, but they do. That's good. They get a little crazy. There's lots of stories I can't.
I'm sure.
But we always have a good time with it.
The Great Food Truck Race, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Food Network. Next day streams on HBO Max. Tyler Florence, been following your career for a long time.
Thank you, Jeff.
I understand you got a German Shepherd, and you also have another pet.
We have a German Short-Hair Pointer.
Okay.
Really pretty honey dog. He's beautiful. His name is Leroy. He's running around someplace. And we have 5 goats. We have a pig named Mazzy.
The pig. Yeah. Mazzy's not going to be pork belly one day, right? She's just a pet.
That's up to her. Let's see how it goes. No, I'm kidding. No, she's a family pet. She's probably 8 years old. She's just kind of running around the backyard,
awesome.
Tearing up.
Very cool.
Super fun. Yep.
Tyler Florence, The Great Food Truck Race, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Food Network. Next day streaming on HBO Max. A pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks so much.
All right. Tyler Florence said he never threw a famous person out of one of his restaurants. And I believe he was thinking about it. I think he really wanted to tell me if he did. Nevertheless, a very interesting takeaway here. Tyler Florence's very first job was washing dishes at a very fancy restaurant in his hometown of Greenville, South Carolina. He said, and I quote, "I found my tribe." He found his people. And I can tell you, outside of being a paper boy, I worked in a restaurant. It was actually a dinner theater. But I understand when you're 15 or 16 years old and you're a kid, in the restaurant world, they treat you like you're an adult, and outside of the chain of command where you the manager and the head chef and this and that, everybody's on the same level. And that's very appealing for like a 16-year-old kid who's just kind of coming up trying to find his way. You feel like you got a little bit of respect. right? So when he said that he found his tribe, I got exactly where he was coming from and could identify with that. So his very first job at this restaurant washing dishes, and he felt like he belonged. And then he was describing some of the food and the sauces and the lobster. And he was like, oh, this really fancy food. Fell in love with it when he was just a kid, his very first job. That was the beginning of Tyler Florence forging his own path into the culinary world. You know, he found this all on his own. His parents weren't in this business. His mom worked at a local TV news station as an accountant. His father said he did a lot of different things, including selling advertising. So this was like Tyler's own thing. You know, it seems like things came relatively easy for Tyler Florence, even though I'm sure that's not the case. But being the executive chef, the head chef at a big fancy restaurant in New York City when you're only 25 years old, and then being approached by an executive at the Food Network that's like, hey, heard a lot about you. This restaurant's great. How would you feel about being on TV? And he's like, yeah, okay. And he was talking about how this is his 30th year at the Food Network. You know, there's a famous expression about luck where they say luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And that very well could have been the case for Tyler Florence. Incredibly prepared, trained at Johnson & Wales, the very best if you wanted to become a chef. So he was very prepared for the opportunity that came upon him and took every advantage thereon after. Sunday nights, 9 p.m. on the Food Network, the great food truck race, Sweet and Savory. 4 trucks that specialize in savory dishes and 4 sweet-themed trucks must prove their cooking expertise, marketing savvy, and selling skills in theme challenges. To beat their rivals, only one truck will remain and be awarded a life-changing $50,000 grand prize. The Great Food Truck Race, Sweet and Savory, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. on the Food Network. So this was his thing. Tyler Florence's first job at a restaurant, and no looking back. Celebrity chef on TV and owns a bunch of high-end restaurants throughout the country. This was his calling. Hey, don't forget, every Wednesday we release the Celebrity Jobber Rewind. You know, after our 200th episode, there could be a lot that you haven't heard. So be looking for an older episode released on Wednesdays called Celebrity Jobber Rewind. This past Wednesday was the lead singer of Papa Roach, Jacoby Shaddix, who just turned 50 years old. And we talked about how he grew up living in a tent. He was homeless. Him and his whole family when he was younger. And just a pretty remarkable story. So that was episode 104. Wednesdays, Celebrity Jobber Rewind. Be looking for that. Plus, of course, you can go back and check out any episode by going to CelebrityJobber.com. Streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please hit the subscribe button. Would love a 5-star rating, and please leave a comment and or a review. You can follow on Instagram, celebrity_jobber_podcast, and a ton of videos up on youtube.com/the@celebrityjobber. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tyler Florence wouldn't be a line cook at Chili's, you know, if he didn't make it on the Food Network. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. That's the story of Tyler Florence. Thank you again for listening to another episode of the Celebrity Jobber Podcast. And until next week, I'll see you then. I'm Jeff Zito.